And once he gets home, he's going to be calling up directly, and we're going to be getting this interview on the go. So everybody, please stick around. Please understand. Outlaw Radio and Kendrick we both want to apologize for the inconvenience. But until then, actually, wait, we got Kendrick coming on right now. 1 second, everybody. Hey, Kendrick, how are you doing?
Alright, what's good?
Pretty good. You're live on the air. How are you doing?
I'm doing very well, thank you.
Alright. So, first off, I want to say, Kendrick, thank you very much for coming on the air. It is an absolute honor for me to interview you.
Alright,
so let's go. We'll get into the interview. What was Tupac Shakur like growing up?
Well, Tupac was basically like any other child, except that Tupac had certain special characteristics, one of which was integrity. Even as a little boy, he had integrity. He had a lot of desire to see good out of bad. So he always wanted, even as a little kid, he wanted to see justice. He wanted to see people that were homeless with a house. He wanted to see people that didn't have clothes with clothes, even as a little boy. So he was very passionate and sensitive to the needs and the needs of the community.
That's honestly, it sounds like he was the same as he was from when he was young to when he was older.
Yeah, his personality and his character didn't change much from a child to a man, except he became more mature. The same qualities he had as an adult, he always had. You know what I'm saying? He was always full of integrity. He was always wanting better for others. He always had compassion for the community and for the people that were suffering. He always had a desire to make things better.
And that's the Tupac that many of us know. What got Tupac into music?
Okay, well, like this. Back in 1976, 75, 74, when hip-hop first started in the Bronx, New York, we were living in the Bronx. Tupac grew up with me and my mother and my brothers and sisters in the Bronx. So we all lived in the same house. And we used to sneak out and go to the block parties, you know what I'm saying, where hip-hop first started. So it was like a phenomenon, and it was like the best greatest thing that ever happened to either one of us. So I used to take Pac with me, you know what I'm saying. Pac used to always want to hang out. He always wanted to be out with the big boys, you know what I'm saying. And he always had a sense of maturity. But we would go to these block parties, you know what I'm saying, and Pac would be amazed. And like I would go home, write a rap, because I was about 12 by then, 11. So I'd be writing raps and shit. Pac was impressed. And, you know, I was always the cousin that my family looked up to, like the boys, like the Outlaws and Castro and E and them, because I was the closest to their age as a man. So, you know, we were very, very compatible, and we were very close, you know what I'm saying? So the same characteristics Pac had, I had, and I've always had, because we all grew up in the same household. We was all taught to read at a very young age. We were all taught about oppression at a very young age. We were all taught about struggling and overcoming odds and obstacles at a very young age. So when Pac started rapping, it wasn't a surprise that eventually his music would evolve into the music that we have today. Whereas every song we listen to, we get inspiration from.
That's honestly, I never knew that about Pac. He used to go to block parties. I didn't know that one. That's actually a really good story. Now,
yeah.
What was Tupac's reaction to his very first record deal?
He was happy.
What was Tupac's reaction to his very first record deal?
He was happy. See, whenever you have the desire to help others, and a baby, so Pac had a little nephew, a niece. So at that time, Pac was happy because he wanted to be the breadwinner and provide for his family. You feel me? It wasn't about fame. It wasn't about having millions of records sold. His only intention was to provide. You know what I'm saying?
And that's a sign of a true man right there, wanting to provide for his family.
Yeah.
So, like I told our listeners, there's some controversial questions in here. We're about to get into the first one. What's the real story behind the November 30th, 1994 Quad Studio shooting, and what's your take on it?
Well, I honestly don't know the real story. I don't think anyone does. My take on it is that whenever you have jealous people with jealousy and envy in their heart, and they see a beautiful shining star in their face, and instead of them asking the person, how can I become a beautiful shining star like you are, they want to kill your shine. And that's what happened.
That, honestly, a lot of people are like that, They can't support the person, they just want to destroy the person,
Right, because they can't measure up. They were so intimidated by Tupac because Pac was a man's man. Pac wasn't afraid of no man. Pac was very adamant about his business and about how he's going to be handled. And Pac was very courageous. Pac would stand up to any man at any given time on any given day. You know what I'm saying? I've never seen Pac front. When it was time to throw down, Pac could throw down before everybody. See what I'm saying? True warrior, true champion.
Tupac most definitely was a role model for everybody as well. Most definitely. Did Tupac ever talk about foreseeing his death?
I'll tell you like this. When you know that you got a lot of haters, and you know people threatening you, you're getting threats, phone calls and shit, of course you're going to foresee your death. But it wasn't like no mystical thing, because God tells us in the Quran and the Bible that He controls life and death, and no man or woman or anybody knows the day they're going to die. So it wasn't like that. It was just the simple fact that Tupac knew that people was after him. He knew that they were jealous. He knew that he had a lot of haters, and that's why he was foreseeing his death, because he was getting threatened with his life.
While we're on that subject, this is the one that, to me, it's touchy because it's emotional to me, but I've heard a lot of different mixed stories about this one. What's the real story of his last 6 days in the hospital? Many claim he was awake and talking, others said that he wasn't.
He wasn't. Once Pac got to the hospital, he never regained consciousness.
Tupac had a vision for the Pawamika calf. Can you tell us what inspired him to have such a creative idea?
Pac was a very creative, very thoughtful, very insightful guy, and he always wanted to create things that would help others and that would provide for others. That was all his motivation was.
What was the last moment you shared with Tupac?
The last moment, we were person to person, face.
Oh yeah, like kind of like your for like face to face, like the last moment you guys shared, like.
Well, Pac used to come around for all of the family functions we would have. So like, even when he was on tour or whatever, if we had a cookout or a family reunion or whatever, he would stop and come home. The Thanksgiving after he got out of jail, he came home and we had a beautiful, beautiful party. We had a football game out on the in my backyard, which I got on video. And so we shared a few intimate moments before he went back to California, and then eventually to Vegas, where he met his demise at. But, God controls life and death, so, we really took it, and we understood that. So, it wasn't very hard for us to accept his death. What was hard was what happened and how they did it, because it was the second time he got ambushed. And my brother and I, Billy Bang, William Lesane, we were the ones who always took responsibility to protect Tupac and Outlaws, because we raised them. They're my little babies. So, we weren't there, to protect them. And that was the thing that messed me up, and the guilt and the shame I carried for years was that I wasn't there to protect him, because we don't let nobody touch Pac. You know what I'm saying? When you really love a person, you gonna protect them, and you ain't worried about nothing but protecting that person. So that's all God's will. So we all accept that God controls everything, and we just pray that God took Tupac and had mercy on his soul. And we pray for all of our lost families and loved ones, you know what I'm saying? But we don't, and especially me, I'm not going to sit here and try to dissect what happened, who did it, and all that old shit, because God is the all-seeing, not me, not nobody else. So I don't know, and no one knows, but God does, and I trust that God is going to bring justice.
On the topic of justice, do you think Tupac's murder will ever be solved, and do you know who did it?
I don't think they'll solve his murder, because I don't think they care. Do I know who did it? No, but I know that the people who were jealous of Tupac and the people who were threatened if he went on his own and did his own thing were very upset when he didn't want to be included with them. So I'm not going to say names. I'm not going to accuse anybody, because I'm a Muslim, and Islam teaches us not to accuse a person of something unless there's 4 witnesses who said they saw him do it. And I don't have that. But what I have is what I feel in my heart. And I feel that the people that Tupac didn't want to be around with no more, because Tupac saw how weak and cowardly they were and how much they lacked integrity. So Pac wanted to get away from them. And when he requested for all his stuff, there was a problem, and then the next thing you know, 2 or 3 days later, he's murdered. So, I just looked at it like that.
That's understandable. Me personally, as a fan, I wish that day wouldn't have happened. He was such a inspirational. There's so many characteristics you can name about Tupac. We could be here all day. But I want to say that Tupac was the man that so many people looked up to. And I just hope God blessed his soul.
Yeah, me too.
Is there still unreleased Tupac music that's yet to be released to the public?
Yes.
Wow.
The estate will be releasing that stuff soon. But yeah, Tupac did a lot of work in his last couple of months on this earth. He did a lot of work because he was very, very adamant about making sure his family was taken care of. So yeah, he did some work to make sure we had value. We would always be able to provide.
Do you know how many albums he has, or is there this just solo songs?
Well, I don't know if they're albums, because you compile an album. You don't just make an album unless that's what you're doing. But, yeah, we have. I don't know how many songs, but my family on the estate has many songs that are unreleased by Tupac that the world hasn't heard at all. You know what I'm saying? Things that are going to shock the world. And they're going to shock people. And they're going to make people realize just how powerful God is and how God works. And God works through people. And Tupac was one of the people that God worked through.
I have one last question for you tonight. Can you tell our listeners a few things about Tupac that nobody else knows?
Yeah. First of all, people get it misconceived that he wasn't Muslim. He was Muslim. Tupac was born into a Muslim family. His mother and father, well, his father was thugged out gangster, but his stepfather was a Muslim. So when he was born, his parents were Muslim already. So he was born into an Islamic setting. However, at the time, this is like the early 70s, Islam hadn't really hit the mainstream community in the ghetto like that. The real Islam. It was just watered down versions of Islam. So, you know, I have pictures with Tupac wearing a kufi. See what I'm saying? So that tells you right there. 6 years old, he wearing a kufi. So Tupac was a believer. He believed in God. He had integrity. He had honor. He had dignity. He had class. He had compassion. He had mercy for people. He had patience with people. He was very understanding. But he was also very, very manly and very, very masculine, meaning that he was a man's man. He wasn't walking around playing no games, no weak characteristics whatsoever. You know what I'm saying? So there you have it right there, bro.
All right, perfect. Thank you, Kendrick. Is there anything else you want to address the live listeners before we part ways?
Yes, I want to thank the listeners. I want to thank all of the Tupac fans all over the world that still love Tupac, that still listen to him, that still support him. I just want his listeners to know that I, his first cousin, and his brother, and his comrade, and one of his best friends, is putting together a 5-volume documentary about our life together and all of our lessons and all of the things we went through, all of the things we did on the road, all of the tour stuff, everything. I'm doing a beautiful, powerful story and rendition of my life, and Tupac is the star of it because Tupac was my main man and he was my employer for years.
Is there an estimated release date at all?
Sir?
Sorry about that. Is there an estimated release date for the 5-part documentary?
No, there's no estimated release date for the documentary. However, I'm in the process of putting together the team that's going to help me do this documentary. I purchased a lot of the music, the footage, everything. I need a good executive producer. If there's anybody out there listening and y'all want to become part of history with this 5-volume documentary, please reach out to me. Kendrick Lesane at AOL.com. Y'all can hit me on Instagram at Kendrick Lesane. And I'm looking for investors, people that want to be involved in making a classic documentary. I'm also doing a 5-volume album, tribute to Tupac Shakur from all of the loved ones and the people that love him, including the Outlaws, Thug Life, everybody. You know what I'm saying? All his comrades is on this 67-song compilation. So, with that being said, please listen out for the projects. Please support the Tupac Shakur Foundation and the family and the loved ones. And please, everybody, keep believing in God, keep doing good, keep praying for forgiveness, and keep striving for excellence. Peace and love, and may God bless the world. Amen.
Thank you very much, Kendrick. You have yourself a wonderful night, and thank you so much for coming on Outlaw Radio.
Thank you, brother, and peace and love to the Outlaws. By the way, y'all know they're in Russia right now representing for us, man. So y'all pray for the Outlaws, pray for their protection, and we'll see y'all soon, man. God bless.
God bless, Kendrick. Have yourself a wonderful night.
You too, brother. Thank you.
You as well. Bye-bye now. Alright, everybody, that was the man himself, Tupac Shakur's first cousin. And I have to say, I really have to say right now, we just found out, we just actually heard history itself, okay? We just found out Tupac was a Muslim. I'm going to be truthful with you. I don't know if y'all knew that or not. I never knew that. I'm going to be honest with you. My jaw dropped like, I think, about a good 10 inches, okay? I'm going to be truthful. I physically feel like my jaw is gone. I want to let all my listeners know that right there, what we just did on Outlaw Radio was my dream. When I was a little kid, like I said, I was a huge Pac fan. I've always dreamed of having my own radio show, which clearly I do. But my other part of my dream just came true tonight. I've always wanted to interview one of Pac's family members. Just have an interview based solely on Tupac and ask questions I've always wanted to know. So I want to thank everybody for your support. The past 3 days, I haven't barely got much